Yo, we are back in the building. What's up, people? How's everybody doing out there in the land? We are coming to y'all live from my studio down here, straight from Peoria, Illinois. If y'all don't know about Peoria, Illinois, then y'all missing out because this is a good city, one of the greatest cities, if you ask me. There's a lot of hate, but still, we represent, we hold it down. And we got a lot of talent here in this city. And I think it's starting to take the world by storm. So you will definitely see a lot more from our city. So make sure y'all looking out. I'm just checking to see if my sound is good. If you can hear me, let me know. Just making sure everything sounds good. If you guys have comments, you can leave your comments. So make sure y'all looking out. I'm just checking to see if my sound is good. All right, that does sound good. If you guys have comments, make sure you leave your comments, questions, suggestions, any of that stuff, because we could definitely tap in. We could talk about this together. So it can be a two-way conversation going on here live. And yeah, we in the building. We got something to talk about tonight, y'all. And I done a few episodes on P. Diddy. Oh, so if y'all, just so y'all know, we do have Beagle over here. So we just added Beagle to our live. So now we're live on Facebook twice right now, and we're live on YouTube. So if you want to watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on YouTube. And then over here, we're on Beagle. So we're just trying Beagle out. I heard it's hot. People were suggesting it to me. So we are going to try Beagle and see what that do. All right. So that's what's up. This weekend was pretty good. It's pretty crazy. We had a few things going on, a few events we had going on. If you don't know, I do DJ. So we had, what was it? It was the first one. Well, I know Sunday was an engagement party. That was the last one we did, was an engagement party. Oh, and then the night before that, it was a grand opening of Empire. Look, I be so busy. Grand opening of Empire. So we helped a black club here in Peoria opened up, and it was a pretty successful opening. There was a live band there. I DJ'd, of course, and there was food. There was drinks. I don't know how much it was juice there. So we had a good time. That's all I can tell you. It was a good time. What's up? Thank you for sending that emoji. We love it. That helps out with the algorithm. So I would appreciate if y'all all send emojis. And when we talk about the topic, you can definitely let me know what you think about it because y'all, it's hip hop. I know a lot of y'all grew up with P. Diddy and the whole bad boy movement. It's bad boy for life. It's bad boy. Yeah. And we got some y'all, we got some explosive story that's coming up about just the song and the whole aura, and it includes Biggie. So y'all got to see that. I don't have a whole lot of time to do what I do, so I try to, get everything done. I wish I had help like a whole crew to do some things, but I don't. So it's all up to me to get it done. So with that being said, that video is crazy, y'all. Y'all got to see it. It's gonna make your mouth drop. You're gonna be like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" There's a lot of stuff coming out about P. Diddy and the whole bad boy movement and how he was instrumental in doing some things that was kind of on the freaky side, was really on the freaky side. And that takes us to the topic we're talking about today. A lot of people say, like, why is he in trouble for being freaky? Like, why he and R. Kelly are in trouble for being freaky? Shouldn't you be allowed to be freaky in your own home and throw these parties and have orgies and stuff like that? I mean, of course, that's what people do right now. I know lawyers in Peoria. I won't name any names, but I know heavy lawyers in Peoria that have like these type parties with orgies and stuff like that. And it's probably drugs. You have to understand, like back then, they was living like a rock star lifestyle anyway. So there was always drugs and stuff like that around. So I think really, it was a lot of people was getting caught up in the lifestyle and what was going on there with cocaine era and all that stuff. So I won't get into a whole lot of that. But the difference between just being freaky, because like I said, it's okay to be freaky. But the difference between being freaky and what he was doing, it just dropped today that he might have been giving people horse tranquilizer. So imagine that horse tranquilizer. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, that's some type of shit that you drink and you're just gonna be impaired for like a day or so. Not being able to do stuff. Like some young girls or girls was like they went to P. Diddy and got a drink and woke up like 2 days later and didn't know what the fuck happened to them. Like that's some scary shit. Like I don't know what they was into. And then like you have to think, like it was all of these people at this party. So if you got a few girls to volunteer to drink this, and they was made to drink it. That's what I'm hearing. Like it's like either you drink it or you get out the party. You can't be here. If you don't drink this, you can't be here. So they was almost forced to drink it. But just imagine, like you have all of these stars here, and just because you're a star, don't mean like you got all the females. You could be a star and be like the goofiest type person. Michael Jackson, for example. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna get all the females. Like you might have opportunities to, but you're not built for that. So I'm just saying, like he having these parties and stuff, and the whole thing is to please these guests, maybe trap them and some shit, get them on videotape or some shit. That's like what Diddy was known for, apparently. So just imagine like somebody going over there drinking a drink and then not waking up for like a day or two, and all the things that could possibly happen to her with all these people who feel like this is something that I need to partake in. You know what I'm saying? So it's just really crazy. But we got this video here, and I want y'all to see this video because this is going to talk a lot about what is coming out, and not just me talking about it. A lot of people will be like, well, why are you talking about it? It's not just me talking about it. It's like the world's talking about it right now. And I just want y'all to take a listen to what is being said, and then we're going to come back and talk about it a little bit more, okay? So y'all check this out.
Cocktail, cocaine, and horse trank. That's horse tranquilizer.
Horse
Did he
tranquilizer,
actually
y'all.
feed this to his guests? This while Sean Combs' mother drops a bombshell. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
The biggest
See,
secret
young
in the
child.
entertainment industry. The wall of silence has now been broken. Victims are coming forward. We now represent 120 individuals against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities. The names that we're going to name are names that will shock you.
We understand that a lot of Hollywood celebrities are shaking in their boots because they know they are going to be named not by the feds, by the civil lawyer, Busby. And remember this, the prosecutors are held to a certain ethical duty as prosecutors. The civil arena is a whole nother animal. There is nothing to stop Busby from naming celebs, taking names and naming them out loud. So we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. This, as we learned, that Diddy's party cocktail, that's certainly putting perfume on the pig. Some people call it the cocktail. Their words, not mine. Includes cocaine and horse trank. Listen.
Several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean
this is crazy
many,
right here.
Who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine or trank, which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer.
Y'all listen, real quick. There's been theories going around like he had all that baby oil and people are laughing at it and they're making fun of it. But they're saying that it might have been something in that baby oil, some type of tranquilizer, and just putting that or rubbing that on people would paralyze them. So there was something deeper about the baby oil. But take a listen, y'all.
Horse tranquilizer. If it knocks out a horse, what does it do to a lady? Say average weight 105 to 125. What does that do to a human being? You heard Tony Busby, the civil lawyer who is getting thousands and thousands of calls on a Diddy hotline, refer to xylazine, known as Trank. It's a veterinary tranquilizer. It's found in illicit drugs. And this is what we've learned from speaking to experts. It slows breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure to dangerously low levels. It's very hard to reverse. Overdose reversal meds like Narcan do not reverse the effects of xylazine. In other words, for instance, Prince, when he OD'd on an opiate, possibly fentanyl, Narcan, if he had had it, would have saved his life.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
If you OD on xylazine, there is not a drug reversal antidote.
Wow.
Joining me an all-star panel to make sense of what we know tonight.
This is like heavy drugs.
Straight
y'all.
out to
Like
Alex
really
West
heavy drugs.
joining us, investigative and entertainment reporter with The Mirror. Alex, thank you for being with us. Horse trank and cocaine at a party, and guests reportedly didn't know that they were being drugged with that?
Yeah, we've heard that over and over again.
Who would ever
with all
expect
the
to be
civil-
drugged with
not all, but at least
tranquilizer?
a good part of the civil lawsuits that have come forward
Like
so
I can see
far.
ecstasy,
We
the
don't yet
tranquilizer.
know
That's
how
a bit
many of
much.
the 120 that Busby is planning on filing will involve those drugs. It's also worth noting that when Diddy was arrested in the hotel room, allegedly there was a pink powder, an unidentified pink powder that was found in his hotel room.
Dr. Bethany Marshall joining me, renowned psychoanalyst, joining us out of LA, author of Deal Breaker. You can see her now on Peacock. Bethany, I think twice before I even take a baby aspirin, for Pete's sake. It's one thing if you take the
Diddy
drugs,
had drugs
but
and he was
drugging
arrested.
someone else, especially without their knowledge, and using something as volatile as this drug, xylazine, I believe it's called.
Well, keep in mind the xylazine, because it's a horse tranquilizer, causes amnesia, what we call anterograde amnesia, meaning that the victim won't remember what happened while they're
That's
on that
crazy.
drug. And the cocaine keeps them active enough that they can participate in sex acts outside of their conscious awareness. So this is a very sinister thing to do to people. And then remember, he was taping the victims the whole time. So who would do this? A psychopath, a sociopath, somebody who has no regard for others, somebody who's a sadist, as we've been talking about, that the infliction of cruelty makes him, that he enjoys doing that and putting them in humiliating positions. And then Nancy stalking them after this, because once he tapes them on the xylazine and the cocaine, it appears as if they're voluntarily participating in the sex acts, so that he can use that video against them and stalk them for the rest of their lives.
Eric Faddis is joining me, renowned trial lawyer, TV legal analyst, partner at Varner Faddis Elite. Legal, former felony prosecutor. Eric, thank you for being with us. We keep hearing about sex attacks on victims, but here, this is a serious aggravated assault. We typically think under the law of aggravated assaults, which in many jurisdictions carry 20 to life behind bars, as shooting somebody with a gun or stabbing them. They live. It's described as putting someone in fear of serious bodily harm, immediate fear. But in this case, it's not a knife, it's not a gun. It's horse trank mixed with cocaine. That's the allegation. That's a whole nother set of felony charges that, if this is proven, could nail Diddy.
Yeah, Nancy, I mean, the allegations are pretty sinister here. And the difference is that they're alleging that it's sexual assault by coercion, so overcoming someone's will. And that's where these drugs come into play. Allegedly, they allowed Diddy to make sure that the victim could not consent, but also could not defend themselves, really didn't know exactly what was going on, but was present enough to participate in the alleged sex acts. And so, yeah, that is the allegation here, and it's certainly problematic for Diddy.
Joining me right now, death investigator, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet, and star of a hit series, Body Bags, with Joseph Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, what is horse trank? I mean, look, if it knocks out a horse, what will it do to a person?
It'll take them down to their knees, Nancy. Xylazine is specifically what they're referring to in this particular case. And so it's used, it's a non-opiate related substance. So you're not talking about something necessarily like a fentanyl here, or like some kind of synthetic opiate. What we're talking about is something that it's expressly meant to use on equines, which are horses, in order to sedate them for surgery. So, yeah, it can be. And here's another thing with xylene: it can, in fact, be mixed with fentanyl, and which makes it particularly dangerous. And they're seeing this out on the streets now. So this is something that's been around for a minute, but it is something that certainly the DEA is aware of.
Guys, joining me is death investigator, forensic expert, Joe Scott Morgan. Now joining me, Cheryl McCollum, joining us from the field, also forensic expert, host of a hit series, Zone 7, and founder of the Cold Case Research Institute. Cheryl, help me think this through. My immediate reaction is you can't prove it to a reasonable doubt, beyond a reasonable doubt, so don't put it in the pot. You know how it ruins a case when you have one weak link, the weak sister in the case? You have to get rid of that. You have to cut it out. But is there a way to prove it? Not just rumor, not just innuendo, not what 1,000 people say. It doesn't matter, because if they don't know what the substance is, clinically, scientifically, look, let me put it like this. Okay, when I try a coke case, okay, we'd do a bust, there'd be a drug lord, we'd find the false wall, the fake wall, we'd find all the money and the drugs behind the wall, the dog would find it. I can't just say, hey, I found a bunch of white powder, convict him. All the defense would have to do is say, you know what, he hoards baby powder. They can say anything. But if you can't prove what the substance was, you don't have a case. Did you hear what Joe Scott Morgan just said? That
Absolutely.
The raid on Diddy's home, what if that yielded horse trank? What can we do with that, Cheryl McCollum?
There's 4 things you can weave together. 1, some of these victims sought medical treatment. Those medical records and the result of that blood work they can get. You've got eyewitnesses at these parties. Perhaps they saw it. Number 3, you've got the person that made the purchase. Keep in mind, Diddy didn't go out on the street and get cocaine and trank. He didn't. And all these folks that are associated with him that are now under this microscope, they are going to learn whoever talks first gets the deal. Somebody may very well come forward and explain what went down on top of what was seized during these raids. So
They
all
don't.
four of those things can paint a
Somebody gonna
Oh,
picture.
talk.
Cheryl, 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 Cheryl. I can have 50 cops say, I saw him sell a hit. But if it's not tested at the lab, Cheryl, you still don't have a case. Period. I hear what you're saying. Do you know he used it? Yes. Do I believe he used horse drink on victims? Yes. Does Joe Scott? Yes. Did they find it in his mansion? Maybe. Let's just pretend yes. I still can't prove what substance was administered to those partygoers unless.
That's crazy, y'all. Like the whole thing is, it's in the air that he may have been giving his guests horse tranquilizer, and that just what that does is it incapacitates your whole body for hours, maybe days. If it can tranquilize a horse, what do you think it could do to a human? And this was in the drinks, so that's a whole different type of sinister. More than just being freaky. Way more than just being freaky.
They were tested at the hospital and it showed up. Joe Scott Morgan joining me. I want to follow up. And I appreciate what you said, Cheryl. And yes, I would put it on my board proving guilt, but it's not enough to bring a horse trank case. It's just not enough against Diddy. We have to be realistic. We don't want to ruin the rest of the case. Again, Joe Scott Morgan, I'm talking about horse trank being used on these victims without their knowledge. What about this? A horse trank victim has stated, and I'll only call her Jessica, it eats your skin away and you just have a hole and then it leaves a scar. I know horse trank can cause ulcers, can cause actually like holes in your skin.
That's crazy, y'all.
Why?
Like, this is...
I mean, look, my first cousin is a horse trainer. Horses are huge. How much do they weigh, Jackie? I mean, hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
They weigh a lot.
You know about Google, right? What, Liz? Oh, dear Lord in heaven. 2,000 pounds.
Oh, wow.
If that can knock out a horse, what does it do to a person? So why would this trank cause ulcers, cause, as Jessica said, holes in her skin?
It's strong.
I got to tell you, I have not heard this before, but I have heard something similar to this. And I know that covering drug cases, you've encountered this with people that use injectables. If they skin pop, for instance, which means they don't go into a vein, they actually go into the subcu fat and they start to inject this way, you can have ulcerated areas that will appear. So was this drug being administered with a syringe? Because I got to tell you, it doesn't sound like the normal course when you're trying to administer something that is the equivalent of, it's serving the same function as a date rape drug. So you would administer it orally. So is she saying that it burned a hole in her mouth? I've had cocaine overdoses before with people with chronic cocaine problems that died, and the septum in the nose would ulcerate, and you would have that kind of reaction. But that's over a protracted period of time. This almost sounds like if that's what if we're to believe the statement.
You mean like Michael Jackson and his nose falling apart?
Well, no, I think that maybe I can't speak to that, but I know for a fact I've done or participated in investigations and autopsies with individuals that had eroded septums as a result of what they were snorting.
Are you saying the septum is that cartilage in the middle of your nose?
Right, that splits your nostrils in two. Yeah. And so you'll get that ulcerated area there. But many times, because these drugs are cut with things, all right, you don't know what the agent is in there that they're cutting it. And the idea here, just so our friends understand, they try to extend the life of the drug that they have. So you don't know what the skin is coming in contact with, Nancy.
Well, this is what I know, Joe Scott, from the National Institute on Drug Abuse. Xylazine, which is horse trank, which reportedly Diddy's feeding to his guests in order to sex assault them, unbeknownst to them, is associated with skin wounds, open sores, ulcers, and abscesses. Now, while his party victims are
She said
suffering
party
potential
victims.
skin wounds, open sores, and abscesses. He's not worried. He's chillaxing with some mango, people. Check it out.
With the ocean as your backyard. I ain't special.
Wow.
I just want it.
We're gonna stop
I
it right
want
there,
it
y'all.
bad. You feel me? I had to allow myself to not have mango.
They own Diddy. That's all I can say.
Hard, you know what I'm saying? You know,
They own Diddy.
No, I'm good my way. No, baby.
And it
Thanks,
looked like-
Diddy, for that Insta.
And it looked like Diddy was just really living a life. I ain't gonna lie. It looked like Diddy was really living a life. So for him to have to go through this is crazy, insane. But you do have to pay for, your wrongs and things like that. But this isn't crazy, man. Horse tranquilizer, like that's what they're saying. And this is not just me saying it. This is like on a nationwide news. If you haven't heard about it, you're hearing about it now, and you will hear about it more as time goes on. So something definitely to take a look at. But we're gonna get out of here, y'all. I want to thank y'all for tapping in. My name is Johnny Johnny. This has been Johnny Live. We are in our new studio, so make sure that y'all supporting. I do have my YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at the bottom. And then if you want to donate, my Cash App is down there to donate to $DJC Kid 4 if you want to donate so we can get bigger and better. And, we definitely gonna grow. We got more things coming. So make sure y'all tap in and check me out. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna get out of here. My name is Johnny Johnny, and this is Live with Johnny Johnny. Holla.